Veridonia was prosperous. Fields of grain swayed in the breeze. Sun glinted off the white walls of the castle. It was ruled by King Midas. Midas was young, Midas was handsome, Midas was already tired of what he had. He wanted more. "What is beyond my borders?" he asked his advisors. "More kingdoms, sire," they said, "but none as rich as yours." "I want them anyway," Midas declared. "I want it all." He yearned for everything he saw. He wanted to possess it all. One day a traveller arrived at the castle gates. He had journeyed from distant lands, crossing mountains and rivers, enduring the harsh elements of nature. His steps were slow but determined, each one a testament to his unwavering resolve. He was old and weathered, his face etched with the lines of countless adventures and hardships. His eyes, though tired, held a spark of wisdom and experience. His clothes were dusty from the road, tattered and worn from the long journey. Each tear and stain told a story of the trials he had faced. He carried a small velvet pouch, clutched tightly in his hand. It was an object of great importance, a treasure he had protected with his life. "I bring a gift for the king," the traveller announced to the castle guard, his voice steady despite his weariness. The guard, curious, allowed him to pass. Inside the pouch was a pearl of great power, a gem unlike any other. It glowed with an ethereal light, captivating all who gazed upon it. King Midas, intrigued by the traveller's tale and the promise of the pearl, granted him an audience. The grand hall fell silent as the traveller approached the throne. With trembling hands, the traveller opened his pouch, revealing the pearl to the king. The room filled with a soft, radiant glow. Inside lay a pearl shimmering with an inner light, its beauty unmatched by any jewel in the kingdom. It seemed to pulse with a life of its own. "This pearl," he rasped, his voice filled with reverence, "will grant you the desire of your heart, but beware, for its power is great and must be used wisely." Section 4. The Insatiable Hunger. Midas took the pearl, a symbol of his unending desire for power and wealth. It was warm in his hand, almost as if it had a life of its own, pulsating with an otherworldly energy. He felt a strange energy thrumming within it, a power that seemed to promise him everything he ever wanted. He closed his fingers around it, his mind racing with thoughts of endless riches and boundless power. He wished for everything. He wished for it all to be his. Every kingdom, every treasure, every ounce of power. The next morning, a neighboring kingdom declared its allegiance to Midas. He laughed, a triumphant sound echoing through the halls. The pearl was working, but his laughter soon turned hollow. It wasn't enough. The power he had gained only fueled his insatiable hunger. He wanted more. His greed became a monster, always hungry, always demanding more. The pearl's promise of endless power had turned into a curse, consuming him from within. Section 5. The Price of Greed. In the heart of Veridonia, a kingdom once known for its lush landscapes and prosperous people, there lived a king named Midas. His reign began with promise and hope, but soon his insatiable desire for wealth overshadowed his duties as a ruler. One day, Midas discovered a mystical pearl that granted him the power to turn anything he touched into gold. He used the pearl again and again, intoxicated by the power it bestowed upon him. With each use, his wealth grew exponentially. He acquired kingdoms, riches and treasures beyond measure. His vaults overflowed with gold, and his name became synonymous with opulence. But with each conquest, his heart grew colder. The more he amassed, the more he distanced himself from his people and his own humanity. His people starved as he hoarded. The once thriving villages fell into despair, and the cries of the hungry echoed through the kingdom. His lands withered as he neglected them. The fertile fields turned barren, and the rivers that once flowed with life dried up. Veridonia, once a jewel, became a barren husk. The beauty that had defined the kingdom was now a distant memory, replaced by desolation and decay. His people, his friends, even his advisors left him. They could no longer bear to witness the kingdom's decline or the king's obsession. They sought warmth and joy, things Midas no longer possessed. They found solace in each other, in the simple pleasures of life that gold could never buy. He sat on a throne of gold, surrounded by his horde, alone. The silence of his grand halls was deafening, a stark contrast to the laughter and life that once filled them. He looked at the pearl in his hand. It pulsed faintly. He understood. The pearl, once a symbol of his power, now felt like a curse. The pearl hadn't granted him everything he desired. Instead, it had taken away everything that truly mattered. It had taken everything he truly had. Midas realized that in his quest for endless wealth, he had lost his kingdom, his people, and his soul.